before the video begins, I'd like to clarify something pretty big. I'm going to be making a lot of changes to my channel thanks to Copa, and this is going to be the first video that's affected. So I'm actually going to start swearing in this video, but I'm going to bleep them out. And if you actually want to hear the juicy profanity, click the link in the description and all that stuff. Anyways, on to the content you clicked on for no reason. Why would you click on this Hey everybody! Do you remember that one time in August where I tried to beat a Wacky race with no items? Yep, everybody looked at that video and everybody enjoyed it. Oh god, that little people actually saw it. And I've actually had a lot of other challenges in the works for quite a while, and I've been debating on which one I should do next. The ones I've planned so far are doing it with advanced controls. You'll see what I mean if I ever get to that video. Doing the hard mode with co-op, that's kind of a dumb idea, which I really didn't like the thought of. A Nuzlocke run of it, which is a really idea, I should definitely not do that. And the topic of this video, beating on the secret difficulty. So, how do you unlock the secret difficulty? Well, first of all, you need to open up a save and go to the password screen. Then you need to enter Fast Cars A Go-Go, I think. And then you have to enable the cheat on that save, make a new game, and you'll see it there, looming. But don't think this is where the cryptic stuff stops, because after you do that, it gets all the more difficult. Trust me. But I've been setting this aside for too long, so you know what? We're finding out if the toughest mode in the entire game is even possible. Can you beat Wacky Races starring Dastardly and Muttley on the secret difficulty? Now then, this is going to work a bit differently to my usual challenge videos. I'm going to talk about highlights despite how easy or throw your console out of the window it was. And I'm also going to add this little star counter of interest thing where whenever I'm going to a new star, it will count to which star it is and display at the bottom which star I actually went for in this order. But I'm pretty sure you all want to stop hearing me rambling. So then, let's look through the 11 hours of footage I've got and see where the counter puts us first. I'd like to use the beginning part of the run to clarify a couple of things. First of all, for some reason the recording of the first couple of stages was more wide than the others, so that's something that you're not going to see later on. But the main thing I wanted to clarify is why I'm using the anthill mob. You see, there are a couple of viable characters you can use. Early in the game, there are only 4 characters that are really viable. The Arkansas Chuggabug, the Army Surplus Special, the Compact Pussycat, and the Anthill Mob. So why did I pick the Anthill Mob? Well, a couple of reasons. One is because I can really get to work with their boost. It doesn't have any delay at the beginning, it's snappy and fast. But also, the Anthill Mob was my childhood main. Yeah, when I was younger, but I want to relive some old fantasies of mine. Though a certain character later wipes the floor over everybody else. But we're not talking about that because we haven't unlocked the characters, so let's continue with where we are now. So, what is the difficulty level for this? Well, imagine Infograms just thinking, what would make a good 5th cheat for the game? And then they imagine, wait a minute, we need something for the more hardcore players. I've got it. So then they just dumped all the rubber banding in this mode and then just said, here you go, this is what you get for playing advanced. But with the stage itself, there's not that much to report on, so we're moving. Oh, hello, young impressionable child. I would like to show you a magical place called HAL! Seriously, for being the 2nd star you have to obtain, this is way harder than anything anybody would expect. Like, even an easy difficulty, I struggle getting the star. So at the hardest difficulty of the game, yeah, we're leaving that until I obtain that mid-game god I was talking about. Here we go, the first boss rush of the game. So, what exactly is the boss rush? Well, when we were beginning, there was one thing I forgot to mention. We have to collect every single character's abilities during the state of the game. And this is basically the explanation for what it is. Pat Pending, even though his stage is my favorite of all the bosses, I don't specifically think he's that challenging. I think he's kind of a pushover. And as for the terms of the abilities, they don't really change. Oh, that's a shame. I was expecting to be like a Bouldermobile, like a bazooka. But so far we're changing with the next character, but it could change. Okay, now we're moving on to the Wacky Cups, which when in the no item run, it wasn't that much of a problem. Here, they're actually really difficult, because during the Wild Frontier Cup, I actually had no idea if you could restart or still get the clock while you're resetting. And I was really relieved to find out that you actually could. But also, I figured out the first instance of the game rigging the AI in this difficulty. I mean, look at this! I'm boosting and I can't get ahead of him! The game is just sticking him in front of him without even giving me a chance to stay ahead. What, has he got steroids stuffed up his... At this point, I was in a bit of a pickle because I didn't have any stars or clocks to bypass the stage so that I could get more items before I got to the second boss rush. So, I had to do Snowtop Drop. This is gonna be a long evening. So I kept pounding myself at it, but I just never got it for like maybe an hour or something. I don't know. But you know what? Every single time you do it, there's always a light at the end of the tunnel. Before you get shot a million times when you're about to do a shortcut. Thanks, guys! Do you want me to put you in a paper grinder, you... And then my PS2 screeched at me for no reason. Oh, Jesus Christ! Do you want me to play you or not? We've hit 20 stars. Here we go again, boys. So, before we continue, why are we not at the Crimson Hay Baler? Why are we still at Professor Bat Pending? Well, it's very simple. It's Professor Bat Pending's second challenge, which is unlocked when you unlock the Crimson Hay Baler's first challenges with the clocks. And he's kind of a pushover even on the second challenge. So, yeah, just like that, we've unlocked Professor Bat Pending. But we're not quite done yet, because we have to unlock our second set of abilities. And this is where things change drastically. But before we talk about the changes, let's talk about the boss itself. It's me from the future. Sorry about the freeze here. If I deleted this part, then everything would go out of time. Okay, here we go. The Crimson Hay Baler takes the cake for the toughest boss rush of them all. But why not Dastardly? Because you only have one set of your abilities here, and the Hay Baler holds a lot of abilities that may change the character. Dastardly's are strong too, but this one is where the game starts to change a lot for the CPUs and the AI. Now, his boss itself, the track is actually really difficult to beat him at. And when you do, you have to keep moving on with the next character, as usual. But it's never as easy as just getting ahead of him, because if you do, he'll either boost ahead of you, or he'll hit you, and you'll suddenly realize why you're getting scratched up so much. But then on one attempt, I had a run which I think is the most proud I've ever been in this entire run. Just look at it. Oh my god, I've almost won with the Bullmobile. Go, 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 go. Place down the mine. Oh god, he's gonna boost his knee. Go, go, go! Oh, I'm coming! I'm done here! I fulfilled my purpose! I need to see no down here! Two more big notes. You remember that ultimate mid-game weapon I was talking about? Well, now's the time we get to unleash it, because we unlocked the boost for the Creepy Coop. This is like our Lord and Savior for the rest of the run. Like, he comes in a third of the run in, but he's so useful I can't even describe it in the words. Let's just show you what I'm talking about a little later on. Oh, and one more thing. For our old character we were playing as, the Bulletproof Bomb, he has unlocked the scariest attack ability in the entire game, which, if not reflected, freezes us to a pulp. The Concrete Coat Gun. So yeah, those are the big changes. We're going to be using the Creepy Coop from this point on, but if we're not careful, our old character could get revenge for being swapped out by freezing us in goddamn concrete. Also, this has no correlation to everything, but I just wanted to show you this clip I got with a Thunder Club placement. It's amazing. Ow! Damn it! God damn it! Damn it! Damn it! Damn it! There's nothing that big here. This is just a race I wanted to show, but I really shouldn't have won! Yeah, the reason why we wanted to keep the coupe for later is so that we could get the speed boost. Because while the speed is ludicrous on this thing and the abilities are amazing, the acceleration isn't very good. So that's why we hold it out on playing as it until we got the ability. Yeah? We good? Okay, let's continue. Anyways, before I move on to the next section, I might as well talk a little bit more about the Golden Mutleys. They're not exactly a highlight in the run for me. They're not actually that hard because you can preserve your tokens and then boost. The aim of the game is to collect the Mutleys on the first lap, then a bit on the second lap when you know you have a route. Start boosting as much as you can so that you can catch up with the pack, because if you can't see the pack by the third lap, or not on like 7th by the third lap, then you've screwed up. It's gonna be near impossible to catch up. So yeah, Golden Mutleys, not that big of a worry. Let's move on. Yeah, I said that we're going to be using the coupe for the rest of the game, but I'm gonna make one exception for the battles, because the creepy coupe is jack diddly battles. What can it do? Place a bunch of clouds that don't even give them the tokens when they strike? Yes! Can it actually do something strong? No! Is it actually worthy of being used in this? And can it actually win battles? I hope not. So instead for battles, we're going to be swapping over to a more battle-fit character. We're going to be swapping over to the Arkansas Chuggabug. Why the Chuggabug and not somebody like the Army Surplus Special? Because the Arkansas Chuggabug has the king of battle abilities. Maybe except for the Magnet and Shrink Ray from Dastardly, but we don't talk about them. He has the cousin Billy Bob. He costs about 2 tokens and shoots out 3 bullets and homes onto the people you're facing. Now, if it hits, it gives you back 1 token, so you need to land 3 of these to get aim tokens, which is quite tricky. But the trick is to wait for a good opening and then attack. But the thing about him is that he has about 1.5 seconds before he shoots. So if you're facing against somebody and they use a shield, you can just face away and go for somebody else. And you can actually face away from them when you're about to fire, so that they don't expect something, and then turn there, and then they become shouted at as Gordon Ramsay. Where's the lamb sauce, you imbeciles? The battle challenge themselves, surprise, surprise! It's not the 7th level of hell like it was in the items challenge, because all we need to do is wait for an opening, and then instead of hopelessly trying to ram into them, we can just fire at will. Yes, it's the last one of these! Woo, scary! But before we jump willy-nilly into Dastardly, of course we have to go back and unlock the Crimson Hay Baler, as if we're going to be using him at any point of this run. So, yeah, we went back to unlock the Crimson Hay Baler, and to be honest, he got stuck somewhere, so I decided to have some fun placing the clouds until I realized, wait, Hay Baler? You gonna move? Hay Baler! Hay Baler! Hay Baler! And now that we have the Hay Baler, equipped, stop to Professor Pat Bending's house to collect that item we didn't receive before because we didn't have the Hay Baler before. Yeah, it's still easy, shut. Alright, on to what you all wanted to see. Dick Dastardly. And I haven't mentioned this yet, but throughout this whole run, he has been a... Maybe that was the point. I can never get most races done because somebody keeps spamming his Shrink Ray and shrinking me down. But now that we have all the abilities, I'm quickly going to mark out all of the characters who might be a problem later on. The Creepy Goob has the Shrink Ray, which is good for us, but when we're in battle mode, it just has to stop. The Omni Simpler Special now has a faster projectile, and combine that with him being aggressive, he just has to stop! The Arkansas Chuggabug now has an ability that's only useful in races at stopping us, and is basically the concrete coke gun, and it just has to stop! So those are all the big things that the third challenge has. So after this, not that much happens for a while. In fact, until the second Dastardly race, which we are skipping to right now because I need quality quality. And would you look at that? We've beaten the second Dastardly challenge. And you all know what that means. The Team 00 Knockout Challenges! Starting off with Snowfall Peaks, just so we can do a little calm before the storm because of Wild Frontier. This one isn't actually that difficult, but you have to watch out for very specific things. And also, you can shave off a lot of time in Glacier Lake if you skip up this bit. And just like that, we finished the Snowfall Peaks one. Now, time to begin True Hell with the Wild Frontier one. For some reason, the Wild Frontier Dastardly challenges is easily the toughest part of the entire run. So much can go wrong here that it's actually insane. You have a very tight time limit that you have to beat, but everybody is trying to stop you. They all have their abilities if they can kill you in an instant. And what about Dastardly, huh? If he gets behind you and uses a grouper once, bam, you're dead. Game over. You have to reset again. And what about the fact that Dastardly has infinite range on a string ray? So if you're at the other end of the map on the final stage about to win, and then Dastardly rips out a string ray to stop you when you don't expect it, yeah, he's gonna win. I'm gonna go. He's honestly miserable. This went for so long and through so much pain that I actually wanted to smash Dastardly's face. Just to smash it right in there. Just to smash it right in there. Just to smash his face into the ground. Or everything you don't think's going to happen, eventually it pays off to something. No matter how many months, years, or decades it takes, it will eventually happen. And somehow, someway, I actually managed to get past Dastardly by shrinking him with a witch at the very last second, and I actually managed to beat the time. And that was the most joy I've ever felt to beat Dastardly. Oh yeah, and there was another widescreen change. Ignore that. And then after the other two was really when problems, I was almost finished. I just had to get through the battle cup, and then I could finally smash Dastardly's face into the freaking ground. All I had to get past was the battle cup, which I did by, for most of the race, I just stood in one position where people would never hit me, and then when they were low on health, I came out to destroy them. And just like that, we've gotten the 53 stars. So you know what? It's time to kill Dastardly! After all the stars we collected, it's finally time for it to culminate into the final battle. Dastardly is never easy in any of these stages. No matter how far ahead you are, he'll always just be right behind you, ready to attack for when you only have one token. So, watch your back whenever you're doing this battle, and make sure you always have at least 2 tokens. If anything, I recommend popping the shield, and then sending out a witch to shrink him. A good example of why you should shield is here, when Dastardly tries shrinking me. When I do that, I can hit the shield, and then he can get shrunken, basically guaranteeing us a free victory if it's near the end. And things only go from bad to worse when we enter the second stage, as not only is Dastardly always really far ahead of us, or right behind us, but this stage is actually made for Dastardly to destroy people in, because there are so many tiny short spaces, which are really difficult to get past if Dastardly has placed a glue anywhere. But if you're quick enough, you can get ahead of Dastardly, use a witch to shrink him to make sure he doesn't get ahead of you, and then you can pop a shield. And then just keep going forward and keep making sure you don't run out of tokens. You need at least 4 to do that sort of combo. So keep going, make sure you don't run out of tokens, and then you can make it to the final stage. Before we continue, just think about everything we've accomplished heading up to the final stage of this run. This is the final part of everything you've been preparing for in this ultra difficult run. This is the final part of it, and you are going to make it count! Let's go. You've got Dastardly's last leg. This is the final challenge he set up for you, but stupidly, he takes the left path, thinking he could be all smug by taking an even slower path and still beating you. But you say no! You take all the tokens on the line! You keep boosting! And you show him what it truly means to come last place! Ka soko ni sokoru sayutsu sudorechi. Watashi wa kane wo shiro o makajoto wa takematsu. Kare wa ni watashi o isu tomoe. Atana wa tande hirashi kabiko o kirire to katimakusen. Okay, I'll stop with the stupid Japanese voices. Well, if you think you're so strong then try and hit me. I'm boosting. Alright then. Wait, no! I have my shield on! That's why you should never be too careful! No! I can't let him beat me! I'm Dastardly! This is from my previous 11 hours of dedication! I can't let him win! I'm Dastardly! And another challenge! Oh my god, I can't believe I'm about to say this! And I'm Dastardly! Completed! Oh my god. My throat hurts so much after all that shouting at the end game. But you know what? Just like that, another challenge is completed. When I was younger, and even now, I struggled with the Dastardly challenges. I thought Dastardly difficulty would just mean that when you're playing as Dastardly, it would make it difficult for everybody else. Even if it already was, but no, it made it really hard. After that discovery, I vowed to never touch it again. But now, look at where I am now. I have more challenges to go for this, but if it's going to be as insane and as emotion clenching, what the hell, as this, then I'm gonna be up for the ride every single time. I don't need any outro for this. I just need to say thank you for being on this wild ride with me. It's been an honor.